Hey everybody, welcome back to the Court of Random Opinion. My name is Lauren Neidigh. If I sound a little off, it's because I just woke up from a nap. Yes, a nap at 7-something p.m. I finished work today and I was still really tired, and we have the Jad Wallace amended complaint coming out tonight, so I decided to get a little bit of sleep in. And then I woke up and saw this. Marvel Studios has made a motion to quash the subpoena by Justin Baldoni. Now, if you don't know why Marvel Studios is involved, you've probably heard about Nicepool at this point. Nicepool is a character in the Deadpool and Wolverine movie who was designed basically as a way to mock Justin Baldoni. He has the long hair, the man bun. They have him saying some interesting stuff. I do have a recap of that in under 60 seconds that I'll show you after we read this filing in case you haven't seen it yet. I'm going to give people a couple more minutes to file in here if they want to join us for this live stream, and then we'll just get right into the document. So let me pull it up. Okay. Amanda, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. I appreciate it. We're going to do something members only this weekend, so I appreciate that. Okay. Give me just a minute, guys. I like man buns. I don't care who knows. I'm happy for you, dude. I personally don't care either way. I'm not a huge enthusiast, but it is what it is. I don't hate them. Let's put it that way. They don't affect me that much, but that can change, I suppose. All right, here we go. So this is from. You can see it says Quash, and for a protective order to protect non-party confidential documents. Dear Judge Lyman, this firm represents non-party Marvel Entertainment LLC. We write pursuant to Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 26 and 45, Rule 4.c of Your Honor's individual practices, and Paragraph 10 of the protective order, to request that the court, 1, quash the subpoena issued to Marvel from the Wayfarer parties, and 2, issue a protective order prohibiting the disclosure of Marvel's confidential documents by any party or other non-party in this action. Alternatively, Marvel requests that the court stay the return date of the subpoena and related document requests until after the court decides the pending motion to dismiss of counterclaim defendant Ryan Reynolds. And of course, that's not surprising because Ryan Reynolds is the star of the Deadpool franchise. The subpoena concerns the creation and development of one of the characters in Marvel's film Deadpool and Wolverine. Marvel is aware that the Wayfarer parties have served document requests for the same documents from Reynolds. As discussed more fully below, the requested documents are proprietary and highly confidential, and their disclosure is likely to substantially harm Marvel. Furthermore, the documents are irrelevant to the claims in this case. And that's, not something that they can just declare. It's something that the judge will kind of have to decide. The disclosure of these documents would be improper and inconsistent with the federal rules. So I guess now they're going to kind of tell us a little bit about why they think that is. Hey, Sarah, and thank you, mods, for being here. Hey, Teresa. This is going to be kind of a short stream, guys, because we do have that Wallace amended complaint coming out later. It has not dropped yet. I double-checked, so... Let's see. Background regarding Marvel, Deadpool, and Wolverine, and the allegations at issue. Deadpool and Wolverine is a film produced by Marvel Studios. I mean, we know that. Reynolds is one of the writers of the film and stars as the titular character Deadpool. The film was released in July of 2024. It is the third in a series of Deadpool films, and is the 34th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, an ongoing series of interconnected films and television shows featuring Marvel characters and stories. Tell you what, man, and this is not a popular opinion, but you guys bring Andrew Garfield back for a Spider-Man movie, and I might overlook this. As if my opinion matters. Andrew Garfield is like everybody's least favorite Spider-Man. I'm like, no, he's the best Spider-Man. All right, anyways. Deadpool and Wolverine features a number of different versions of the Deadpool character, including Lady Deadpool, voiced by Blake Lively, by the way, Dogpool, Kidpool, Headpool, and Nicepool. Which one of those was your child, Ryan? The Wayfarer parties make brief reference to Nicepool in their first amended complaint. Specifically, they allege that Reynolds and Lively continued to leave breadcrumbs in their campaign for mocking and bullying defendant and counterclaim plaintiff Justin Baldoni by including Nicepool in Deadpool and Wolverine as a vicious caricature of Baldoni, and that scenes with Nicepool were intended to be a transparent and mocking portrayal of Reynolds' warped perception of Baldoni. So I know they said alleged here, but guys, if you return to Ryan Reynolds' motion to dismiss documents, I believe you'll see he did not deny this. So it's not really alleged at this point. It is factual. Okay. And you can argue wow, sorry. I'm still waking up, guys. You could argue that is fair game, like that's not an illegal thing to do, but if we're talking about defamation and we're talking about establishing that someone had these kind of malicious intents, I think maybe that's why this comes into the fold. Let's see, the subpoena and document requests. The subpoena calls for the production of all documents and communications concerning the creation, development, modification, or portrayal of the character Nicepool from Deadpool and Wolverine. Exhibit A. I guess they must have included the exhibit at the bottom, we'll see. It also calls for the production of all documents and communications concerning Baldoni. Marvel further understands, from a notice provided by Reynolds, that the RFPs call for Nicepool-related documents from Reynolds. The requested documents should not be produced. On a motion to quash, the party issuing the subpoena must demonstrate that the information sought is relevant and material to the allegations and claims at issue in the proceedings, after which the burden shifts to the movement to demonstrate undue burden imposed by the subpoena. A court may quash a subpoena if it requires disclosing confidential research, development, or commercial information. Pursuant to the protective order in this case, a third party may seek a protective order or other relief from this court when a party to the action is requested to produce discovery material that is subject to contractual or other obligations of confidentiality owed to the third party. A protective order prohibiting the production of documents is warranted where the request for documents exceeds the scope of discoverable information under Rule 26. For example, non-privileged matter that is relevant to any party's claim or defense and proportional to the needs of the case. The requested documents are neither relevant nor material. Give me one sec, guys. Amy Shepard, thank you for the 5. I'm so glad this case has brought you in my life. Thank you for all you do. Well, thank you. The feeling is mutual. Thanks. Okay. Hey, Michelle, how's it going? Give me one sec here, guys. Sometimes I got to take a little break between sections because I did not mean to pin that, Michelle, because it is hard to just read these things through, and I'm just talking at myself, basically. So here's what I wanted to do. There we go. Got it. Okay. The documents at issue are irrelevant to the resolution of the claims asserted in this case. To survive, the Wayfarer party's claims against Reynolds for defamation and false light must be based on false statements of fact, not merely ideas or opinions. Okay. In their FAC, and I'm just skimming over the case citations here, guys. In their FAC, the Wayfarer parties allege that Nicepool is a caricature and mocking portrayal based on Reynolds' perception of Baldoni, but identify no false statement of fact. Consequently, the portrayal of Nicepool is not actionable as defamation. Based on the Wayfarer party's allegations, Nicepool is clearly a joke and not grounded in any factual basis. Tellingly, in their opposition to Reynolds' motion to dismiss, while the Wayfarer parties cite various allegations that purportedly support their defamation claim, they do not even mention Nicepool. Okay. Is that accurate? It might be. Honestly, it might be. I can't remember if they, in that opposition, I can't remember if they brought it up again. But we'll see. While the Wayfarer parties cite various allegations that purportedly support their defamation claim, they do not even mention Nicepool. The requested documents are also immaterial. The Wayfarer parties certainly have other, less burdensome means through which they can obtain relevant information, if any exists, from the parties in the action, such as requests for admission or a party deposition. The documents are proprietary and confidential, and their disclosure would harm Marvel, is the next section. JAC Carey, thank you for becoming a new YouTube member. I appreciate it. Right. Even assuming arguendo, the requested documents are relevant and material, the court should still prohibit their disclosure because the requests are unduly burdensome and they seek highly proprietary and confidential documents, the disclosure of which would harm Marvel. The subpoena's requests sweep broadly, demanding all documents about a character in a major film and all documents concerning an actor from seemingly anyone related to Marvel. These requests necessarily call for the production of draft scripts, production notes, and other documents relating to the development of the film. Courts recognize that documents relating to the development of a creative work are confidential and deserving of protection. The requested documents are particularly sensitive because they relate to the development of a character in an ongoing movie franchise. So ongoing, presumably, would mean they're planning to expand, they're going to keep going with the franchise. Marvel has built the success of the MCU in large part by interconnecting storylines, plots, and do not bother me right now, phone. Sorry. Marvel has built the success of the MCU in large part by interconnecting storylines, plots, and characters across its titles, including crossover events and sequels. Whether and how such elements will appear in upcoming unreleased projects is the subject of much public interest, and this information is closely guarded by Marvel. Marvel's confidentiality concerns are heightened because, as this court has observed, the details of this case have been closely followed in the media. By whom? The parties have accused opposing parties of providing private, sensitive, or confidential information to the media in ways that cannot easily be traced. Yeah, okay. And it's obviously not that hard to trace, ask Stephanie Jones. And where confidential information is not disclosed to the media, it may spread by gossip and innuendo. Well, I could start gossip and innuendo right now, man. It doesn't mean it has any merit. I try not to do that, certainly, but, What if I said the next Deadpool movie, was going to come out and Deadpool's leg wasn't going to grow back this time? I mean, is it their fault if that picks up? Because I said it. Even if the requested documents are produced with the highest level of confidentiality permitted by the protective order, there remains serious risk that they will be disclosed to the public. The requested documents are not relevant to any claim in this case, and their disclosure would cause substantial harm to Marvel. Marvel respectfully requests that the court quash the subpoena and prohibit the disclosure of the Cesspool-related documents requested in the RFPs. In the alternative, disclosure should be stayed pending determination of Reynolds' motion. If the court declines to grant the relief requested herein, Marvel respectfully submits that disclosure should be stayed pending the decision on Reynolds' motion to dismiss. Good cause exists to stay discovery. As set forth above, the discovery sought from Marvel is broad. Disclosure of these confidential documents would prejudice Marvel, and Reynolds' motion presents substantial grounds for dismissal. At the same time, the Wayfarer parties would not be prejudiced by a stay. I certify that counsel for Marvel met and conferred with counsel for the Wayfarer parties in good faith effort to resolve this dispute prior to filing this motion, and then Jacob D. Albertson signed it. He's their counsel. Exhibit A here. Subpoena to produce documents, information, or objects, or to permit inspection of premises in a civil action. This is a subpoena. Notice that they have actually named people on it. Again, take note, Stephanie Jones. Okay. I think this might be the only thing on here. Definitions and instructions. Yeah, this is just talking about what it means on the subpoena. Okay. Or no, these are the interrogatories, aren't they? I think they are. Or that was because these terms usually come with interrogatories, so I'm not. Hang on, let's see. I don't see any questions here though, so that's interesting. All documents and communication. This is what they're asking for. All documents and communications, including but not limited to emails, texts, memoranda, and meeting notes concerning the creation, development, modification, or portrayal of the character Nicepool from Deadpool and Wolverine, whether exchanged internally among employees of you or externally with writers, directors, actors, or other third parties. Request for production number 2 is all documents and communications concerning Baldoni. All right. Cats? Who's Cats? Lyman is not going to deny Ryan's motion to dismiss. Hey, I mean, he might, and they might amend. You know what I mean? It might. And when they amend, they would then bring in that stuff about the sham subpoena, because remember, at this point, the sham subpoena, the sham lawsuit, that's only been raised in their counterclaims against Stephanie Jones. So they have to wait for the judge to rule on the motions to dismiss before they proceed. Like, if they were to amend and add that, it would have to be after the judge has ruled now, because the deadline to voluntarily amend those complaints has passed. And so they would have had to have done that by April 18th, last Friday. And remember that they filed that letter in court a couple days before that deadline saying they were confident and they were not going to elect to amend before the deadline. But we'll see. Let me pull up that 60-second video for you guys. The one I was just telling you about. Well, this is kind of interesting too, where he's proclaiming his deep hatred for the Nicepool character. Hold on. Why don't we watch that one first, actually? We won't watch the whole video, just the part where Ryan Reynolds is being quoted.
She arrived.
So that's... Nope, that's not it.
So much of this.
God, it took me a long time to get to the point on this one, didn't it? Here it is.
Introduce the Deadpool core.
Yeah, that documents that I've read, mind you, I read Blake Lively's complaint and was a Blake Lively fan, a Ryan Reynolds fan, you know, long before I ever read Justin Baldoni's complaints.
I fucking hate Nicepool worse than Deadpool does.
And here we introduce the Deadpool core.
Yeah, that does track.
Yeah, I know it. I know it. An example, Ryan talks about making me laugh on set. This was one where it really got me.
So much of this was kind of made up on the day, too. All the multiverse jokes.
Almost all of it, Ryan. Oh,
Yeah.
I have to tell you.
I wonder what happened on that day. Do you think something happened on that day that pissed Blake off and that's why that all came up? That's total speculation on my part. Please do not run with that.
And we did so on this scene, and we made up this entire premise of using Nicepool as a human shield.
Come off of this amazing, big comedy bit with Nicepool getting his head blown off and this whole kind of thing in the street, which was
Just said that so casually.
essentially ad-libbed, really, by Ryan. He's like, I think I want to have his head blown off. And so we kind of just...
Something tells me that didn't just spring to mind in the moment there, Ryan. Anyways, that's just some of the interesting stuff I've seen on the internet today. Stay tuned for more updates. I'm sure there... I forgot about that. That was a few weeks ago, wasn't it? Let's see. Let me check this. Because this is the quote I'm looking for. No, it's in the transcript. Come on, Google. I guess it's not going to make it easy for me, is it? I mean, it's possible that this one is just going
to laugh at themselves and to be a part of the humor that we were building in this movie.
And we run everything by everyone before if there's a joke,
So they're saying they run everything by everybody if they make a joke about them, basically, which is obviously not true in this case.
Where in God's name is the intimacy coordinator?
I'm so lost, Mr. Wilson.
always shocked that people get the intimacy coordinator joke because it's so inside baseball, but people.
Nicepool's the only variant, or one of very few Deadpool variants that's not from the comics and springs entirely
Well, we know that.
from our writing team's brain, and was so fun. Clearly Canadian, clearly absurd, and Ryan just came to deliver when it comes to Nicepool.
I loved playing him.
So, yeah, and then this is, maybe an unpopular opinion of mine, but I don't think they committed any crimes by doing this. I just think it's kind of shitty behavior. No, honestly, it went over my head when I saw Deadpool and Wolverine. All right, I think we've seen enough. As far as the under 60-second clip of Nicepool recap, I'll post it on Twitter or something later so you can see it, because I feel like we've all seen that now, and the Wallace complaint has dropped. So I'm about to redirect you over to that stream. I'll start that stream in about 15 minutes. So let's say, let's round it up to 8:30. It is 8:10 here right now. So 15 to 20 minutes. Chad Wallace's Amanda complaint. We'll go over that together. One sec. Let me set up this redirect. So I'll send you guys over there. And we'll have to see what's coming up there, because as we know, the updates last night to the counterclaims by Abel and by the Wayfair parties were pretty crazy. One second. Just got to make sure I set it up before we end here. Don't forget to hit the like on this video before you head over there, guys. I'd appreciate that. It helps my channel out a lot just by hitting the like. Here's the redirect. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm actually pleased that it's coming out now, because now I can go to bed at a decent hour, if we assuming it doesn't take me 7 hours to get through it, which I don't think it will. But I'm excited to see what it says, and I'll see you guys in just a few minutes. Okay, thanks everyone. See you in a bit.